All right, so we want to next review interval notation. So we're still kind of building up the foundation to talk about section 5.3. So use inequality symbols. Here's just kind of a summary of the inequality symbols and their meaning. So A is less than B. You could also say B is greater than A or B exceeds A. A is greater than B. Or you can always say B is less than A. A exceeds B. A is less than or equal to B, or we could say A is at most B. A is no more than B. A is greater than or equal to B. A is at least B. A is no less than B. A is less than X, less than B. X is between A and B. X is greater than A and less than B. And of course, this would be A equals B. A does not equal B. A is approximately equal to B. Writing interval notation to express an interval on the number line using interval notation, first sketch the graph. Write the left endpoint of the interval followed by a comma followed by the right endpoint. At the endpoints, place either a parentheses or to denote that the endpoint is not included in the interval, or a bracket, or those are the notations, to note that the endpoint is included. Note parentheses are always used with infinity and negative infinity. So here's some examples. So if we're looking at the equality, x is less than 3. Sorry, x is greater than 3, excuse me. Misspoke there. Here's how we write it, set build notation. Set of all x slash, you always write the inequality, close curly bracket. Its graph, we'd have a parenthesis as a 3 shading to the right. So this goes from 3 to infinity. So interval notation goes 3 to infinity. In set build notation, if my inequality is negative 2 is less than or equal to y less than 4. In set build notation, we do a set of all y such that, draw a line, write the inequality, curly bracket. So just think about when you're doing set build notation, you're just making the inequality fancy. And in terms of my graph, I'm going to start at negative 2. I'm going to include a square bracket here because I got equals. Shade everything here, and I'll have a parenthesis as a 4. So an interval notation would be square bracket negative 2 comma 4 parentheses. So let's turn the page. So here's a set build notation. Set of all x greater than a. So here's how we graph it. Here's how you write an interval notation. If we have greater than or equal to, it's the same thing, but we have a square bracket here at a. And these are all the ways numbers are when numbers less than b. Here's my graph. Here's interval notation. Less than or equal to b, we'd have a square bracket here at b. That's the only difference. If we're between a and b, then I'm going to shade everything in between a and b. Parentheses around both. If a is less than or equal to x less than b, then I need to put a square bracket on the a. Similarly, here I'd have to put the square bracket on the b. And then here, for this example, I have to put square brackets on both. So notice this looks like here a bunch of points, but they're not. These are interval notations. So the only way you tell a difference between a point and something in interval notation is by the context. And if we want to say the set of all real numbers, here's how we write it in set build notation. We graph the number line covering everything, and my interval notation from negative infinity to positive infinity. So let's practice. We're going to write this in interval notation and set build notation, and then we're going to graph on a number line. I like to do the graph first. That just kind of sets me up. So I'm going to do the last part first, if that's okay. So I'm talking about everything less than negative 20. So here's my positive 20. So here's my 20. Everything less than, I'm going to have parentheses, and I'm going to shade in this direction. Some people like to use a highlighter here to kind of make it easier. And let's see if I can make that look a little more like a parentheses. So my interval notation be from left to right, always write from left to right. So I'm going to write my negative infinity first to 20. So that's my, let's call this IN for interval notation. My set builder notation would be the set of all x such that, and I just write my inequality. Here, this would be x is greater than negative 8. So I'd find my negative 8, put a parentheses, and shade to the right. So my interval notation would be from negative 8 to infinity. And then my set builder notation, again, I'm just making this fancy. This would be curly bracket, set of all x such that x is greater than negative 8. Number 10, we've got x here is greater than or equal to negative 3. So I need to find my negative 3. I'm going to put a square bracket, and I'm going to shade to the right. So in my interval notation, I have my square bracket, negative 3 to infinity. And set builder, set of all x such that x is greater than or equal to negative 3. So that's how I'd write between the 3 different notations. And we're going to be using all 3 of these notations throughout the course. So let's turn the page. So here we're just given the graph, and we're asked to write the set builder notation and interval notation. So here, this my inequality bx is greater than 4. So right in set builder, I do the set of all x, draw my line, and then close it with a curly bracket. So there's my set builder notation. And then interval notation, this would be 4 to infinity, since this thing goes on forever. Number 12. So this would be a set of all x is less than negative 1.95. So I'm just writing down the equality first, and then I'm going to make it into set builder by making it fancy. Curly bracket x, my line, close it with a curly bracket. There's my set builder notation. Interval notation, again, this is going this way, but I need to write from left to right. My left endpoint's negative infinity. You need to write that negative infinity first, because that's the leftmost endpoint. This is pretty much the same thing, but we're going to have a square bracket. So my inequality here would be x is less than or equal to negative 5.85. So to make this fancy, so I get my set builder notation, I put the set of all x such that, write the inequality, close it with a curly bracket. And then my interval notation, again, left to right. Leftmost endpoint's negative infinity to negative 5.85, and I need to put a square bracket on that. Now for these, we're typically using the variable x, but you could also use any other variable so long as you're consistent. So like if I wanted to write number 14 with y, I could write it with y. If I want a word with t, I can write it with t. It really doesn't matter. So my inequality here, my shading is in between 0 and 4, so I'm going to write x in the middle. Now since it's a square bracket of 0, I may make that a less than or equal to sign. Parentheses, so I'm going to leave that alone. And now make it fancy so I can get my set builder notation. Set of all x such that x is between 0 and 4, including 0. So there's my set builder notation. And then my interval notation. Bracket 0, comma 4, parentheses. Let's try number 15. Graph the given set and write the corresponding interval notation. All right, so I'm graphing x is less than or equal to negative 3.5. So let me get red going here. So I'm at negative 3, and I'm shading to the left because I'm doing less than. So I need a bracket facing this way. It's got the bracket and parentheses must always open in the direction of the shading. So that would be my graph. And then interval notation, again, from smallest to largest, left to right, would be negative infinity to negative 3 square bracket.